Hi, Ken. Welcome to America's Forum.
Glad to be on, Morgan, and hello, JD.
Now, how did all this get started? How did the lesser prairie chicken end up listed as a threatened species?
Well, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, after President Obama was elected, was sued by two environmental groups for lack of making movement. And the judge said that you had to do something within a year. Then he gave a 6-month extension. And essentially, as of March of this year, the bird was listed as threatened. So it was a sue and settle tactic that we've seen so much around the country.
And so with this tactic being utilized, Ken, what do you really believe is going on here? Is this really a concern about the environment, or is there another motive behind all this?
Well, we see it as another motive. We have done a lot of work with our 31 county coalition here, and we've had public hearings. We've investigated the science, and the science is not clear that the bird is threatened or endangered. And we've also found that there has been a gross neglect of administrative conduct as far as the way the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has handled this. They've short-circuited a lot of the systems designed to protect citizens from this sort of overreach. It appears that this is the administration's attempt to shut down the oil and gas industry here in western Kansas, and quite frankly, they're having a very, very good success with it.
Now, Ken, landowners can participate in a voluntary conservation plan, which gives you monetary incentives and also protection against accidentally harming one of these. You have not signed up for that. Why is that?
Well, I haven't signed up for it as a rancher. I'm a rancher as well, because, first of all, I don't like extortion businesses, and that's essentially what this is. I have to sign up for one of their plans to get protection. I feel like I know how to manage my land better than they do, and quite frankly, I am making prairie chicken habitat and making money doing it. So their plans have perverse incentives. They don't really inspire people to want to raise the chickens. It's a protection racket.
Well, I was just going to say, yeah, a protection racket where the government comes in saying, look, Ken, we know what's good for you. Just sign up with us, sign on the dotted line, and we'll, quote, help you, when instead actually abridging your ability, the oil and gas situation. Because you touched on this, and given what's going on now in Iraq, is to hear that Kansas has a healthy, a robust oil and gas industry. Now, acknowledging that and getting to understand this, what is most egregious about what is afoot here in your home state in terms of the impediments to the oil and gas industry?
Well, we're already seeing oil and gas companies idling their rigs, changing their schedules. The significant source of revenue for many landowners, ranchers, and farmers that have oil and gas leases. It's a significant source of revenue for our small rural towns to support these oil and gas rigs. As the wind industry, wind turbines aren't allowed to be built, or if they do, they have to pay about $1 million in mitigation fees, depending on what habitat zone they're in. And of course, wind turbines are marginally profitable already, so that puts them out of business. And we've had many of those wind turbine farms that were scheduled to be built that aren't being built. We've got landowners who had oil wells staked out on their property, ready to be drilled. This ruling came through, and the oil and gas company says, no, we're not going to do that. It's not worth the risk or the expense. So we're seeing a big impact already, and this is just the start. We expect that we're going to see even more as it starts to bleed over into restrictions as far as even how people that are using the land for agricultural purposes can use their land.
Now, Ken, another really important issue, you're not allowed to use off-road vehicles, even you on your own land.
You know, up here in Kansas, we're not seeing waves of illegal immigrants. I think we're far enough from the border here. By the time they get here, they're already in a car and going by the interstate or something like that. So we don't have a big problem with that here, but it could certainly become a problem.
And the reason it is a problem, because obviously while Kansas is far removed from the border, when you have these, quote, environmental rulings, it restricts the ability of Border Patrol and law enforcement to actively patrol.
Well, the other states affected, Colorado, Texas, a lot of these are border states that are affected by this same ruling.
So yeah, the border states are really hampers them to enforce border regulations as far as we don't struggle with that. We're struggling just, raising wheat to feed the world, and corn and oil and gas and electricity. All our electrical rates are going to go up because this hits electrical power generation as well as transmission lines. And we're just struggling to do what we've always done out here and provide the real goods that society needs to prosper. We feel like we're under a progressive blitzkrieg here from all different angles. It's not just the Endangered Species Act. We're also looking at navigable waterways being redefined. The BLM is redoing their range management plan. We have the EPA with emissions. I mean, it's just a progressive blitzkrieg. Essentially, we found that the fourth unconstitutional branch of the federal government, the administrative branch, has been harnessed now to get done what the progressives can't do through Congress or through the voters' booth. They're getting done through administrative.
Ken Klemm, we thank you for sounding that cautionary note, letting us know what you're enduring in Kansas, and we'll look forward to talking with you again about what is transpiring and some of the solutions you seek. Your comments welcomed on this. Why don't you reach out to us via Twitter @NewsmaxTV, #America's Forum.